Welcome back to the channel Coins Collector everyone. Today we have something truly special to share with you. This is not just another coin, not just another story about American money. This is about a piece of history that has captured the imagination of collectors, treasure hunters, and anyone who has ever checked their pocket change hoping for a lucky find. We are talking about the 1973 Liberty Quarter Dollar, a coin that has become a legend in the world of numismatics, a coin that is not only steeped in history but also carries a jaw-dropping value on the modern market. Believe it or not, this little 25-cent piece has been reported to fetch as much as $899,000. That is right, a simple quarter, something most of us might toss into a change jar without a second thought, can be worth nearly $1 million today. Now before we dive deep into how such a thing could be possible, let's set the stage. The early 1970s were a fascinating time in the United States. The country was going through tremendous social change, the Vietnam War was still ongoing, the Watergate scandal was brewing, and American culture was shifting in big ways. It was also a period when the U.S. Mint was producing coins that would go on to become iconic. The quarter dollar, bearing the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse, was one of the most commonly circulated coins. But in 1973, something extraordinary happened in the minting process, and that is where the story of the Liberty Quarter Dollar begins to shine. Collectors often say that rarity plus condition plus demand is the formula that creates value. And when it comes to the 1973 Liberty Quarter Dollar, all three of those factors come together in spectacular fashion. The rarity lies in the fact that certain quarters struck in this year were produced with unique errors, unusual metal compositions, or special minting conditions that set them apart from the millions of ordinary quarters that rolled out of the mint. These rare survivors are what today's collectors call the holy grail of modern American coinage. Think about this. For decades people used quarters to buy candy bars, to feed parking meters, or to play arcade machines. But tucked among those countless coins were a handful of special quarters that most people never noticed. These were not flashy, they did not sparkle with neon signs announcing their worth, but quietly, silently, they grew in value as the years passed. Today, the right 1973 Liberty Quarter can command an auction price of nearly $900,000, putting it in the same league as classic gold coins, early American silver dollars, and other numismatic treasures. Let us take a closer look at the design and history. The obverse of the 1973 quarter features the image of George Washington, the founding father and first president of the United States, designed by John Flanagan. This portrait had been used on the quarter since 1932 when it was first introduced to honor Washington's 200th birthday. The reverse of the coin carries the familiar bald eagle design, wings spread proudly, a symbol of American strength and freedom. At first glance, the 1973 Liberty Quarter looks like any other Washington quarter from the period. But as any collector will tell you, the real magic is in the details. Some of these rare 1973 quarters were struck on planchets intended for other denominations. Others show striking errors, double dies, or off-center strikes that make them unique. And then there are those that were preserved in pristine condition, untouched by circulation, with sharp details and a flawless luster. It is these examples, authenticated and graded by professional services, that have crossed into the realm of extraordinary value. When we talk about coin values, it is important to understand the role of grading. Professional coin grading services assign a numerical grade to each coin, ranging from 1 to 70 on the Sheldon scale, with 70 representing a perfect mint state coin. A regular circulated 1973 quarter that has passed through countless hands might only be worth its face value of 25 cents. But a rare variety in mint state 67 or higher can leap into the thousands, tens of thousands, and in exceptional cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars. That is how we arrive at the staggering figure of $899,000 for the finest known examples. The market for rare coins has always been strong, driven by passionate collectors who value history, artistry, and rarity. But in recent years it has reached new heights. Auction houses report record prices for key pieces, and investors now see coins as a solid store of value in uncertain economic times. The 1973 Liberty Quarter has become one of those headline-making coins, the kind that grabs attention not only within the collector community but also in mainstream news outlets. Every time one of these coins appears at auction, it sparks a wave of excitement and curiosity, sending people rushing to check their change drawers and old coin jars. Imagine the thrill of finding one. Picture sitting at your kitchen table, sorting through coins, and suddenly realizing that the quarter in your hand might be worth more than your house, more than your car, more than most people's lifetime savings. That is the dream that keeps the hunt alive, and it is why stories like this capture our imagination. The 1973 Liberty Quarter represents more than just money. It represents possibility, history, and the idea that treasures still exist in the most ordinary places, but beyond the price tag, these coins tell a story about America. They remind us of the artistry of the mint, the precision of the engravers, and the role that coins play in our daily lives. Every quarter is a piece of history that passes from hand to hand, carrying with it the silent witness of countless moments. Some coins buy a newspaper, others pay for a cup of coffee, and a rare few become legends worth a fortune. So as we begin this journey into the history and value of the 1973 Liberty Quarter dollar, buckle up. We will explore how it was made, what makes it unique, how to spot the valuable ones, and why the market places such a high price on this extraordinary coin. We will uncover the details that separate the ordinary from the extraordinary, and we will shine a light on the stories of collectors who have chased, found, and sold these treasures. This is not just about coins. It is about history, passion, and the thrill of discovery. And who knows, maybe by the end of this video, you will be inspired to take a second look at the change in your pocket. Because somewhere out there, in an old jar or tucked away in a forgotten wallet, another 1973 Liberty Quarter might be waiting to be found, waiting to change someone's life forever. So stay tuned, get comfortable, and let us dive deep into the fascinating story of the 1973 Liberty Quarter dollar. This is a tale of a simple coin that rose from everyday circulation to the pinnacle of numismatic glory, a coin that proves even the smallest things can carry the greatest value. Welcome back to the channel. Let's get started. Today we are diving into an absolutely incredible story from the world of American coin collecting. If you are a collector, a history enthusiast, or just someone who loves hearing about hidden treasures, you are in for a treat. We are going to talk about the legendary 1992 Liberty Quarter dollar. This is no ordinary coin. This is a piece of pocket change that has stunned the numismatic community, captured the imagination of collectors worldwide, and has been making headlines for its extraordinary value on the open market. Believe it or not, this quarter, minted in Denver in 1992, has been valued as high as $665,000. Yes, you heard that right. A simple 25-cent coin with a face value of only $0.25 can today be worth more than $500,000. Now you might be asking yourself, how is that even possible? How can something so common, a coin that most people toss into their piggy banks or laundry machines, become a treasure worth more than most houses, cars, or life savings? That is the magic of numismatics, the art and science of coin collecting. Every coin tells a story. Every detail, every mint mark, every little variation, and every historical context adds to the tale of what makes certain coins priceless. And in the case of the 1992 Liberty Quarter, the story is filled with mystery, rarity, and of course, big money. Before we break down the exact reasons why this coin is commanding such jaw-dropping prices today, let us rewind for a moment and appreciate the bigger picture. The quarter dollar in the United States is one of the most recognizable and widely circulated coins. It has been part of daily American life for decades, used for everything from vending machines to toll booths to arcade games. It is a coin everyone knows and most people hardly notice. But hidden among the billions of quarters struck over the years are certain rare issues that stand out like diamonds among pebbles. The 1992 Liberty Quarter is one of those shining diamonds. The year 1992 may not sound like ancient history, but in coin collecting terms, it was a transitional time. The U.S. Mint was shifting technology, adjusting minting practices, and beginning to modernize the way coins were produced. Small mistakes, experimental techniques, and limited runs often led to unusual variations. The Denver Mint, marked by the D under the date, was especially known for producing large quantities of quarters, but in that massive output, a few rare gems slipped through. Some of these quarters have characteristics that set them apart, and collectors today hunt them with an intensity usually reserved for gold and silver. One of the main reasons the 1992 D Liberty quarter has become so valuable is the unique combination of condition, rarity, and demand. Coins are graded by professional services that evaluate their quality on a strict scale. A coin that is found in pristine, almost perfect condition can skyrocket in value compared to one that has been worn down in circulation. Imagine finding a coin from your pocket change that looks like it was struck yesterday, sharp edges, gleaming luster, flawless details. That is the dream of collectors, and in the case of the 1992 D Liberty quarter, those few perfect examples are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Another part of this story lies in the history of the design itself. The Liberty quarter carries with it the symbolism of freedom, strength, and national pride. Collectors are drawn not just to the metal, but to the artistry and meaning behind the coin. The 1992 D issue has become a symbol of how even the most ordinary items in our lives can hold extraordinary value if we look closely enough. When you hold one of these coins in your hand, you are holding a piece of American history, a story of craftsmanship, and potentially, a life-changing fortune. So let us talk about the market. At auctions today, we have seen the 1992 D Liberty quarter sell for astronomical sums. The top recorded sales have reached $665,000. Think about that for a moment. That is enough to buy a luxury home in many parts of the country, enough to pay off debts, enough to retire early. And all from a coin that originally cost just 25 cents. That is why collectors are so passionate, and why stories like this make headlines. Because it is not just about metal, it is about the thrill of the hunt, the chance of discovery, and the possibility that treasure is hiding in plain sight. You might be wondering how many of these 1992 D Liberty quarters exist in such high value condition. The answer is very few. That scarcity is what drives up the price. Coins are only valuable when supply is limited and demand is high. In this case, collectors from all around the world are competing for just a handful of near-perfect examples. Every time one comes to market, the bidding war heats up, and the price tag climbs higher. It is a perfect storm of rarity and desire. Another fascinating part of this story is how coins like the 1992 D Liberty quarter inspire everyday people to look more closely at their change. How many times have you emptied your pockets at the end of the day without a second thought? How many coins have passed through your hands that might have been special? That is the beauty of coin collecting. It turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. It reminds us that history is not just locked away in museums, but circulating right in front of us, hidden in plain sight. As we continue this video, we will explore the full history of the 1992 D Liberty quarter, what makes it unique, how it compares to other rare quarters in U.S. history, and what you should be looking for if you want to find one yourself. We will also break down the grading system, the role of professional authentication, and the exact features that separate a common quarter from a six-figure treasure. By the end of this journey, you will not only understand why this coin is worth so much, but you might even feel inspired to start checking your own change more carefully. So stay tuned, because this is not just a story about coins. It is a story about hidden wealth, about history you can hold in your hand, and about the possibility that your next trip to the store or your next handful of change could reveal a fortune. The 1992 D Liberty quarter is proof that sometimes the most incredible treasures are hiding right where we least expect them. Get ready, because this is going to be an eye-opening look at one of the most valuable and fascinating quarters in American history.